It's time for 41 is the Mic, a weekly Chiefs podcast with Nick Jacobs of KSHB 41 and Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. 41 is the Mic starts now.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. You are here with 41 is the Mic, and wish it was a happier Thanksgiving for Chiefs fans. Very tough 31-28 loss for the Chiefs today to the Cowboys. I am Matt Derrick from Chiefs Digest, alongside our Thanksgiving enthusiast, Nick Jacobs from KSHB 41. Nick, a great Thanksgiving day, not necessarily a great Chiefs game.
Yeah, Chiefs aren't ruining my day, man. I had a good day with the family, so I, even though they lost, I'm not letting that bring me down today, Matt. Okay, so that's not happening. And then, haven't really looked at my notifications. I wasn't going to look at it. I was going to tweet my stuff during the game and move on with my life. So I had no interest in seeing any of that. And if anybody had any venom or stuff that's out of both of our controls, do not care, do not know. Ignorance is bliss. And boy, am I blissful tonight.
Well, hopefully everybody had their fill of turkey and dressing and corn and green bean casserole and pie and anything else.
A lot of disappointment tonight, yeah.
Anything else, exactly. And hopefully you got to spend time with your family and your friends. And what happened in the game can just be, a thing that happened today. Hopefully not the center of your day. Hopefully not everything of your day. Hopefully it was just a piece of a better day for everyone else. This is a great way of just saying that the Chiefs just stunk today, Nick.
Look, I mean, they started strong early, man. I mean, they had that blitz there in the B gap early on, and they were able to get to Dak, and then he threw into zone coverage there, and Watson was able to make that pick. And they did that early, and they went in and scored, and then they had a comfortable, advantage there for a little bit, and then then the wheels started falling off, and then he had things we'll talk about here in a minute that just started happening left and right. And the reality is they weren't able to adjust with the roster they have and some of the play calling they had. And once that happened, and then that took away the margins for error. And then once the officials had some of the calls they did, that was going to be the tipping point that was going to take them over the top, to where even when the Chiefs were trying to overcome some of those things, they just were not going to be able to, because the Cowboys kept getting opportunities over and over again because of defensive pass interference calls. And then the Chiefs had a couple offensive pass interfering call or two that really wasn't. And, that ended up cooking them.
Yeah, I always say close games come down to typically maybe 6 plays that get made one way or the other. And hey, in close games, sometimes it's 3-3, and that's why it ends up being a close game. Sometimes it's 4-2. I think of the 6 big plays in this game, Cowboys certainly probably made 5 of them. The turnover was absolutely a big play that got the Chiefs going early, and you felt like that might be all that the Chiefs needed to get well. But you hit the key word to me, which is adjustments, because the Chiefs just offensively, defensively did not make any of the adjustments that they had to today. They even with the penalties, they weren't making the adjustments that the officials were calling it in a weird way today. Maybe you couldn't make an adjustment to that. And Andy Reid certainly said so after the game. I mean, he's like, hey, these are big physical receivers. You gotta push back with them. They're gonna be physical with you, so you gotta be physical back. Officials did not see it that way today. Not sure that they've got called evenly, but you got to overcome those things. And the Chiefs, honestly, it was the other adjustments that they didn't make that kept them from being able to overcome this. And, and defensively there were breakdowns, offensively there were breakdowns, and all of this despite the fact that Patrick Mahomes had a really good day. And usually when Patrick Mahomes throws 4 touchdowns and doesn't turn the football over, the Chiefs win convincingly. Not so much today.
Yeah, where would you like to start, Matt?
Let's start when things started to go south, because Chiefs were up 7-0. Cowboys get the ball back, and I mean, they fixed themselves immediately. They seemed to make adjustments to what the Chiefs were doing defensively, especially with the blitz. The Chiefs continued to blitz. What, you had the numbers that was it 48% blitz rate?
Yeah, so Dak Prescott was blitzed 48.7% of the time on dropbacks. It's the highest blitz rate he's faced this season. Against the blitz, he was 15 of 19 for 190 yards and one interception. Prescott was pressured total against the blitz, 7 of the dropbacks, and then he was pressured 12 times overall in the entire game. So, and on those times he was pressured, he was 10 of 12 for 108 yards, 2 TDs, and an INT. And you want to know the saddest part about the whole thing?
Oh, lay it on me.
Never got sacked.
Yeah.
So you blitzed almost 50% of the time, and you never sacked him once. Like that's what this game comes down to. Is like you pressured him, and you try to get physical with the Cowboys wide receivers and George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb pushed off a bunch and should have been called, yes, but pass rush still got to get there, still got to make him uncomfortable, still got to make him uneasy so that he doesn't have that time to be able to, let that route develop and be able to throw it. And you had to be able to do that. You couldn't get that done. So Pickens and CeeDee Lamb both had days against you, and that's why you're 6-6.
And amazingly enough, the Chiefs actually played Pickens relatively well for 3/4 of the game. He just absolutely went nuts in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they started Watson had the pass interference, and Watson going against Pickens. The Cowboys ran five times they ran slants against Watson, and Pickens caught four of the 7 targets on that for 73 yards. So the most by any receiver running a slant in a game this season. So that's the fun next gen stat on that one. So yeah, I mean they at that point they're like, hey, CD can't get it, can't get open, can't get that done, and then they said, all right, we're gonna go after Watson. And then when they had that opportunity, when they got the chance to go after Chamari because of the corner blitz, they took full advantage of that for a 50+ yard play. And I mean, here's the sad thing for Trent McDuffie, like. When Trent McDuffie's going against big-bodied 6'2", 6'4" wide receivers or guys that are kind of the elite of the elites in the wide receiver grouping, he's not able to hold up, man. Height-wise, he's not able to hold up. Physicality-wise, he's not able to hold up. So for him and his agent, if you're wanting top corner money, there's a lot of tape that shows that that's not going to happen. And if it's going to happen, it's going to be somewhere where another team's desperate because – you can't overpay for that.
Yeah, and going into the fourth quarter, Pickens had 2 catches on 6 targets for 22 yards. Fourth quarter alone, 4 catches, 7 targets, 66 yards. Yeah. And that was in addition to the penalties that also got called too. So, I mean, the Chiefs actually, like I said, they did a reasonably good job on Pickens, but once again, it was another case of Dallas being able to make the adjustments. Chiefs didn't make the adjustments, didn't counter them back, and just got toasted. And now I'm going to bleed over to the offensive side too, because I think there's probably more beefs that I have on the offensive side. You mentioned that the McDuffie thing, and that's something that you and I have been talking about. Is that McDuffie against bigger receivers, it's always going to be a challenge, and he's given up 3 to 6 inches between Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. They're both bigger than he is. I mean, that was going to be a tough matchup regardless. But over on the offensive side, I mean, the Chiefs had those 2 touchdown drives and then 4 drives that, honestly, Nick, were just absolutely identical. They get out to midfield and peter out and stall. At some point along the way, whether it's a penalty or a sack, they take a negative play that puts them into 2nd and long, 3rd and long, ends up being 4th and long. There was one of those drives where I think that they probably should have gone for it. They punt from the Dallas 44-yard line. That's probably a missed opportunity. I don't know if on the others, because I think the others those had some 4th and some distance. Mm-hmm. The one that was on the 44, I mean, do you send out Harrison Butker for a 62-yard field goal?
No.
I probably do that before I punt. But
100%.
I probably go for it before I kick the field goal.
Yeah, no, if you're giving me those options, then yeah. I would have kicked the field goal. But like you said, option number one, go for it. You don't make it, you don't make it. It's still at midfield. It'd be the equivalent of a good punt return. And then two, yeah, you kick the Bucker field goal. Maybe that goes through. I doubt it, but maybe. And then, you're right back to square one. But yeah, no, I understand they wanted to put them deep in their own territory, all that stuff. That's great. Okay, whatever. But no. Yeah, in terms of offense, like, I just felt like when Jawan Taylor went down, okay, you're good. And you can put more at right tackle. You still got Josh Simmons at left tackle. You're still in good shape. You're okay. Caliendo is going to have some problems. He's going to be outclassed by the defensive tackles he's going against. They're very athletic. He's going to hold on for dear life, and you just hope you can do enough till Patrick, gets the ball out. And that's just where Caliendo's at. That's not a knock on him. That's just the reality. That's why he's, not starting. It's because he's just not at that same caliber as Trey Smith is going against those guys. And that's that. Now, when you lose Josh Simmons, that's when things are going to go sideways. Because the only thing, and I want to recognize you, as you and I were talking about it before, is at that point, like you and I both agreed, you would put Jalen Moore at left tackle at that point. And then you put Wanye at right tackle. Because you need Patrick to feel comfortable on his blind side every single play. And if he needs to do a 5-step drop, 7-step drop, he is confident that Moore is at least going to take that guy and take him upfield. There were some throws Patrick made that once that end goes by him, he's like, I can't take that chance. And he had some bad throws because of that, or he'd have to take off out of the pocket. So when there are people like, hey, Patrick made some bad throws, yeah, because as soon as that end is gone, he's not taking any chances that ball has a chance of getting stripped, because Patrick remembered what happened last year with Wanye all the time. So like Wanye at left tackle, that is the break glass in case of emergency, because the other 4 tackles are gone. That's not what you do. You move more over and you have Wanye at right tackle. That's what should have happened. It didn't, and it cost you a lot of things on your offense. The other part of it that I have, I'll give the floor back to you, Matt, and we keep going, is I don't felt like play calling wise they adjusted to the fact Josh Simmons and Jawan were gone at that point. Once they're gone, 3-step drops, that's what you got. You want to do 5-step? Okay, you can do it, but Moore better be at left tackle. When he's not, that's not going to work out. On one of the plays where Mahomes got sacked, it was because Clowney got away from Wanye, and then Wanye comes over, and he's the one who's got to help Patrick up. Yeah, because he's free, because this guy sacked Patrick once Patrick got out of the pocket. So it's just, I have issues with the receivers, but we'll get into it. But I've talked too long, and I've taken up my time. And I give the floor back to you, sir.
This isn't the Senate here, Nick. You can filibuster all you want to.
I'm not about that life, Matt.
And I mean, once again, I feel like there's a lot of places where you could kind of pick some beefs today with some things that the Chiefs just did that didn't make a whole lot of sense. And I'm going to go back to another one of them being the ground game and how they ended up calling it. Now, granted, the final numbers come out this way a little bit because of the game situation. In the fourth quarter, the Chiefs were all throw mode. They were done with the run game. So they had one rush in the fourth quarter. That was a Patrick Mahomes scramble. Did not hand off the ball to anybody in the fourth quarter. So first half, Kareem Hunt, 8 carries, 45 yards. I think it's like 5.5 yards a carry. That's like classic Kareem Hunt first half. Third quarter, 6 carries, 13 yards. Isaiah Pacheco, that the Chiefs made a big deal of him being back today. I mean, 3 touches today, 2 handoffs in the first half, 10 yards, 1 in the second half, 6 yards. Yeah. That Kareem is coming off 30 carries 4 days ago, and you did nothing to really moderate his workload, and you just continued to hand the ball in the second half, in the third quarter, when that on the season he is not as strong in the second half as he is in the first half. He looked tired in the second half. Didn't really bother trying to get Pacheco involved. I mean, I don't know. I mean, once again, it's the Chiefs have a lot of running backs that they have no interest in giving the football to, apparently. I don't get all of that. I mean, if you're going to have some running backs on the roster, you probably need to give the ball to him every once in a while. If Pacheco couldn't handle more than 3 touches today, then I don't know if he was ready to play. But the fact that he had 3 carries for 16 yards tells me that he could have handled more touches. So I felt like that was, once again, a little bit of the game plan got away from them in the middle of the game, that they just didn't take advantage of what they have. I mean, and they got, once again, incredibly predictable, and the Cowboys took a beat on it.
Yep, they got outcoached. I was going to say it bluntly, they got outcoached. The Cowboys defense versus Chiefs offense, outcoached. And part of that's because they couldn't adjust based on the offensive line. Because that offensive line, as I said on Twitter, that offensive line was being held together by baling wire and duct tape. Like, they were just trying their best at that point. So Patrick had to figure some things out, try to work around the play calls from time to time. And then from a wide receiver perspective, I know he's hurt, so I'm not completely, dismissing that. But there are times where Xavier Worthy gets sloppy as a receiver. Whether it's something from a route perspective, there was that one when Mahomes chucked it up, whenever I think they had the offsides there, as a free play, and he has to go attack the football. You got to go attack the football, get your hands up and grab the football. If I was a wide receivers coach, that's the first thing I'd say. And I barely know half the stuff about being a wide receiver. But I do know you attack the football. You go up there, you grab it. You don't make a breadbasket and give the defender a chance to put in there and deflect it. That could be a big explosive play for your team at a time that they need a spark, and instead you were lazy about it. That is what agitated me. And there's some other times where, like on the offensive pass interference that was called against them, was it OPI? I mean, not really. But the only way you guarantee they don't call that is you keep running your route. You do not stop on your route. You keep running it, they won't call it. Was the cornerback lazy on getting over there, or the safety, whoever it was? Yeah, 100%. But if you keep running your route, they're more than likely not going to call it. And like I said, I know he's injured, and I know he's not 100%, and I totally get that. But I've seen these whenever he isn't injured too. So that's where I can feel comfortable being able to say that and not feel bad about it because of injury. So that's that. Hollywood Brown, it's a mixed bag on what you're going to get. And like Rashee Rice needs somebody else to help him out on a consistent basis so he can be the receiver he's capable of.
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood had a couple of great catches today, and that touchdown was an incredible catch. You just need more from Hollywood. I mean, you need more. Juju had, I think, 1 target today, and that was not even a real target. I think the ball was just kind of thrown at his feet a little bit.
Right.
But, some of this goes back to, we were talking about this, and I was looking at this when looking at some of the dots last week on Next Gen Stats, looking what happens. And this is the thing, is that and why I think that there's a mental aspect to what's going on with the Chiefs receivers, and Worthy might be just the prototypical example of this. Like you said, he has been hurt. Even when the injuries aren't bothering him, it just looks like he's in his head. And, whether it's not, continuing to run when Mahomes escapes the pocket, not having the awareness to be alive and to go and get the ball in that situation and just wait for the ball to come to him. No. Even that offensive pass interference, I was the same thing as you were with, you're not going to get called for that if you don't just turn into a blocker. If you continue to be a receiver and act like a receiver, you're going to get away with that. But the fact that he just kind of turned himself into a blocker and didn't try to act like a receiver anymore, well, you're just giving the official an opportunity to throw the flag on you. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's why some of the PI calls I thought were tic-tac. But I understood them. I mean, they were tic-tac, but I understood them. The one I did not understand was the Jalen Watson one at the end there when it looked like Pickens pushed off on him.
Yep.
And I know there was a little bit of a grab, but then Watson played that perfectly. I mean, he got there at the exact same time the ball did. He didn't hit Pickens early. And I'll say this in my best Eric Bieniemy voice. I also do not like it when a official throws a flag from 20 yards away and there's an official right there on the play that doesn't see the same thing. And what really ticks me off about it is when the official was right there that didn't see it the same way, doesn't say anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's like, wait a minute, you were 5 yards away, and you're not telling the guy that 20 yards downfield? And no, that was good.
Yeah, that's an issue on the league's end, and for that to be in such a pivotal game like that's being seen by the entire country at 3:25 till 6 in that peak window, like that wasn't the right crew to have out there for a game of that caliber. And for the play that was out there between the Chiefs and Cowboys, because they both did play a good game over, collectively it was a good, entertaining, competitive game the entire time, just like the Packers Lions was. So the NFL had two good back-to-back games in terms of a Thanksgiving day, in terms of the caliber of competition and the opponent. But yeah, and here's my other thing. Those delays are unacceptable on it. If it's happening, that yellow flag should already be down. It shouldn't be. You want to know what I thought the equivalent of a lot of those pass interference calls were? Was apparently they were watching the game on YouTube TV. And so everybody's seeing it in real time on an
45-second delay.
They're on YouTube TV. Everybody's looking around. Everybody's 7 seconds later, boom! There's the yellow hanky. And I'm like, okay, apparently they're reffing the game on YouTube TV or, on some other streaming service that's delayed and behind. So congrats on that. So, it's just like...
That's why you're the best, Nick.
So, I mean, reality is, it is what it is. That's unfortunate. You hate to see it, but, at the same time, I mean, if the Chiefs pass rush is better, and here's the other thing, there was two big opportunities to make sure the Cowboys didn't get that field goal whenever they tried to throw the interception. And then when you strip the ball and Tranquil had to just fall on it. Instead, he either didn't see it or whatever, and nobody got it. Otherwise, you're going down for the game-winning drive, potentially. So, I mean, is what it is on that front. But again, there's so many things that led up to you needing those things to go right and to happen to be the difference between, winning and losing. That's happened so many times this year.
Yeah, and that's part of why, one, I mean, I'm never a big fan of blaming the officiating because once again, I feel like good teams overcome that.
Yep.
And if you're not good enough to overcome that, you're probably not a good team. But the Chiefs had two opportunities there, like you said. I mean, there were two opportunities to get the turnover and get the ball back, and all of a sudden it's different. That changes the complexion of the game completely. And you had a chance. You got your hands on a ball. Mike Edwards gets the hands on the ball and creates an opportunity for the interception. Trent McDuffie, and kudos to him, especially because Trent McDuffie, that might have been the toughest game I've ever seen him play. I mean, he got beat up all day long. Yeah. And, between CeeDee Lamb just absolutely toasting him a couple of times, and then Pickens posterizing him on that leap. I mean, I've never seen anybody in greater need of a hug than Trent McDuffie at the end of that game.
A Thanksgiving Day hug.
But I'll give him credit. He could have checked out, but he still made the play to put that ball on the ground. And once again, yeah, you scramble, you hustle, maybe you get that opportunity. But then they had another opportunity to get the Cowboys off the field. They were taking their timeouts, and all they needed just one stop, and they gave up 3 first downs. And it's like any one of those, if you just get a stop, you had a third down at one point on that drive, get the stop, you get the ball back, and you've got it in the hands of Patrick Mahomes with a chance to tie or win.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that simple. I mean, the Chiefs had plenty of opportunities defensively to get the stop, to give themselves another chance, and they just couldn't make a play.
Yeah, and then the other aspect, man, I mean, apparently the new kickoff rules, they have completely destroyed the Chiefs kick return. The Chiefs kick return, it just exists. It's just a part. If you need to go to the bathroom or something at that point, you go do it during that play. If you need to go get some snacks in the kitchen, you can go do it. Because there's going to be a holding penalty, or they're going to get the ball back to where it was going to be originally to begin with.
They covered pretty well today, for the most part. But their return.
When your offense has offensive line issues and you need explosive play from your kick return or punt return, that's where you need it at. And so they tried it with Thornton out there. They tried it with Bashard Smith out there. Then they left Nico Remigio at the punt spot. So, I mean, here's the reality. I know I said it on Sunday. I'm going to say it now again. Remigio isn't bringing anything to the table. He's there for kick returns, punt returns. But guess what? You're already 6-6. Like, you need sparks now. You have to gamble now. You have to go all in and find somebody explosive that can help you in the kick and punt return. If you want to waive Remigio and put him on the practice squad, cool, go for it. But like, you're not using him at receiver. You're not getting anything explosive on kick or punt returns. So, I mean, what does you'd say you do around here then that helps this football team other than catching the ball and not fumbling it? But guess what? You're already 6-6. So even if that happens, it is what it is at this point.
Their return teams are not electric. No.
Yes, that is accurate, Matt. And like you need that right now. And depending on what happens with Josh Simmons, like was that the question you were going to ask here in a little bit?
Well, we need to move. We will be touching on that because obviously we need to figure out what's going to happen with this team next week.
Go for it.
Well, obviously the Chiefs will play with that today without Trey Smith. Probably will play without Trey Smith again next week. I mean, based on the fact that, as it has been described by someone who told NFL Network, apparently he's got a high and a low ankle sprain, Nick. So if you're missing one game, you're certainly probably going to miss two, maybe more. And the fact that they didn't put Trey on IR certainly would suggest that they think it's going to be less than 4 games, but still could be more than one. Josh Simmons was seen after the game in a cast on his wrist. Not ideal. That would certainly suggest that it's something that may keep him out next week and maybe beyond. An elbow injury is just about as bad as a wrist or a back injury for a offensive lineman. I don't like the idea of Jawan Taylor having an elbow injury on top of his knee and his ankle injuries. So are you the possibility that next week, Nick, you might be playing without 3 starting offensive linemen?
Yeah, I mean, that's a real possibility against a very ferocious Houston Texans pass rush. So, I mean, that is a real possibility. And I'm not – what happens to Josh Simmons is going to determine a lot how the rest of the season goes. If he can play and he's healthy, you got a shot. If he's not, you better put Jalen Moore at left tackle. And Poulet, you may want to see what he can do at right tackle at some point because, I mean, you can only have – I know it sounds weird to say, but you can only have one weakness at tackle, and you need it to be at the right tackle side. You can't be at the left tackle. So, like, if Josh Simmons can't play, if there's something that's going to keep him out an extended period of time, it's going to have to be Jalen. And if something happens to Jalen, well, good luck to you this season because, like, that just is what it is at that point.
And I would expect, I mean, it is such an Andy Reid, Andy Heck thing to do philosophy-wise that when Jalen Moore comes into the game to replace Jawan Taylor, that you're not going to move him to left tackle when all of a sudden you need a left tackle and having played 2 different positions in the same game. I mean, I don't know if it's the right thing or not, but that's their philosophy. I will be stunned if Jalen Moore doesn't start at left tackle next week.
Right.
I assume Wanye will be next man up at right tackle, but maybe not. I mean, they got to think about something.
Yeah, well, since you didn't adjust, you're 6-6. So, season's on the line yet again. So, I mean, at some point you got to change philosophies. That's the reality of it, and that's where I'm going to put that out there on this Thanksgiving gift that I'm going to give in this podcast. Is that you're 6-6? That's, in the words of Andy Reid, that's what's real.
That is what's real.
So, like, you're going to have to start doing some stuff differently because NFL teams have an answer for what happened in the Super Bowl, and they've been taking it to church at least 6 times this season. So, you got to decide who you want to become from here on out and with what the roster that you have, and if you're going to find a way to get to the playoffs or not. Like, I mean, AFC West, it's going to be tough to get to now. That's the Broncos. That's Broncos. You want to get that 7th seed as a wild card? That's kind of your path right now. And then if that doesn't happen, then guess what? You're out of the playoffs. Yes, you'll have a higher draft pick, but all you will hear all offseason is that the dynasty's over, the Chiefs are done, the Chiefs are cooked, and everything else possible. And the reality is you still got a lot on this roster you got to fix, starting with your pass rush, no matter what happens. Like the weaknesses on this football team, they're there, and they're going to be there every single week. They're going to be there at running back. They're going to be there in the pass rush. You've got issues in the secondary. You've got issues at wide receiver. And all those are going to have to be addressed. I think I said running back, because if I didn't, I'm saying that double times, and that's completely fine because it's that needed. Like all that's stuff you've got to do. So, right now we get to find out how you can coach.
Yeah, and it's still, I mean, it's one of these crazy things, and because I'm looking at it here because I was trying to remember where Houston was in the playoff race right now. I mean, if you're the Chiefs, you're hoping you win next Sunday against the Texans to at least get the tiebreaker on them.
Yep.
But they're not even in a playoff spot right now. I mean, they're technically ahead of you, but that's like pretty much the only team that you might be able to get a tiebreaker on, which is why you have to finish 11-6. 10-7 is not going to get it done. 11-6 still might not get it done. But, we talk about overall net points being typically a indicator of, how good a team should be, whether they're a winning team, a 500 team, a below 500 team. The Chiefs have net 73 points. There's only 2 teams in the AFC with a better net points differential than the Chiefs. It's the Colts and the Patriots. I mean, they shouldn't be in this spot, but they are here.
Yep.
And next week, I mean, essentially the playoffs start on KSHB 41, Nick, because Chiefs are playing on Sunday night. It is on Channel 41 in Kansas City, and it is playoff time. This is the postseason for the Chiefs has started now.
Yeah, it started a couple of weeks ago, but it's definitely.
Well, now it's serious because losing, you're done.
That's where they put themselves in situation-wise.
All right. Any final thoughts from you, Nick?
No, I think I've said them all at this point. Hope everybody had a great day.
I think we only had a couple of small rants today, but we probably could have done more. But that's what Tuesday nights are for, too. So, Nick, if you ever feel like you need to get something off your chest, you can drop on Tuesday night for the Chiefs Digest Q&A, which was shorter this past week, but still not under an hour. But
sorry, buddy.
We're working on it. All right, everybody. It's kind of a normal week this week. Yes, the Q&A Tuesday night. Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, NBC, KSHB 41. Go there for the pregame show, postgame show, all of your Chiefs news that you need throughout the week. Go to KSHB 41. And then Nick and I will be back here next Sunday, 10 days from now, to break it all down.
That's right, Matt. That is right.
All right, everybody. Have a great week, and we will talk to you again soon.
You've been listening to 41 is the Mic, presented by KSHB 41, your home of the Chiefs and Chiefs Digest.